Push. Do you even really exist? Fucked up.
Not in the face, okay? Give me that. Huh? Keep my eyes.
You were like a brother to me. To all of us. Yeah.
So I've been dying to ask you. So like you're an actor who got a late start, right? And that genre of actors who has like we look at like Rodney Dangerfield, Samuel Jackson, Betty White. A lot of people have gotten their start late. Do you feel like that combined with your military service in the Navy helped you along the way? Do you feel like that was a good start for you?
No, it wasn't my military service. It was my club life.
No, but do you think those played a factor? Like, in other words, I understand you were running a club, but do you feel like those things helped you as far as, starting late? Because some people get training younger as an actor. They go to school.
No.
They do. Do you think
Because of the military, I was able to go to college on the GI Bill, and then I majored in theater. So yes, the military, and we're coming there Veterans Day, and I do a show down in Asbury Park every Veterans Day for the Vietnam veterans. Me being a Vietnam veteran, although I was stateside, yeah, a lot of that, but it was my journey after I got out of the service because I went into the nightlife, the club business, and I learned a lot, met a lot of people, and I was doing what I wanted to do. But then I ran into Matt and Kevin Dillon. They were hanging out in my club, and they kind of pushed me into making a career out of this, which was good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, you've done pretty well for yourself to say the least. So I had a few questions before we hopped into Don Q, which I really enjoyed. Do you think that because many people, because I went to Reddit, a lot of people are very interested in your story, your projects. Do you think that Big Pussy got killed off too soon? Was there another way?
Rocco said it on the Wise Guy documentary with David Chase. She said, "I begged David to keep Vinny on for another season." We could have played it where a day didn't kill me, the last episode, but what we did do by killing me in the Funhouse episode is the show blew up. That's a fact.
Yeah.
The show blew up, because people were not expecting David Proval to get shot and then a week later for me to get killed. They weren't expecting it. Nobody was. The press, nobody. And the show blew up.
Yeah, that's a really good answer because like I always wondered why they did it because like I feel like you were a great addition. You hear so many things. You hear, oh, this person wasn't happy because you're right. The cast thing is very true. Like on the documentary on HBO, a lot of the cast was really unhappy that you went. Like they went to David and they said, no, don't do this. And I guess Vincent, that's a good thing though that that the cast really loves your work. That's a positive, right?
That last day when we were shooting in Silver Cup, because the boat scene was an interior boat, the other stuff is exterior, but that was interior. And we were in there for a while. In fact, the episode, which was usually 12 days, they extended it to 20 days and they gave us more budget, a bigger budget. They didn't have season 3 ready yet. So I was like the ace in the hole, but I don't care because look what it did for my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I never went to Hollywood to do any movies until after I was done with Sopranos. All of a sudden, I'm on a plane going to L.A. and going to Dallas to work with Matthew Perry, and going to Canada to work with Denzel. It just blew up. I mean, I would have not have been in a hurricane if I wasn't on The Sopranos. I would not have been in Maid with Favreau if I wasn't on The Sopranos. Liz Hurley made a joke because we did Mickey Blue Eyes. And then after I saw Liz on the set of Serving Sarah, she says, You guys stole all my actors from Mickey Blue Eyes and The Sopranos. But I had a great journey, and it ends up working with Armand again because we did the Gotti together for HBO, and I'm working with Armand again. Someone who I love and admire, you see, when you go to work with Armand and when you go to work with Tony, with Jimmy Gandolfini, you got to be ready. You got to be serious. You don't know what they're going to give you, especially Armand. You don't know what he's going to give you.
Yeah. Two more quick questions before we hop into Don Q, which I really liked a lot. What do you miss most about James Gandolfini?
Well, Jimmy became everybody's brother.
Yeah.
On the set, Michael loved him. Sirico loved him. Vince Curatola loved him. Everybody loved Jimmy, and I loved him. And I loved him as someone who was guiding me and guiding himself through this journey. After we shot the pilot, we were saying, "What was that? What was that? They're not going to like it. Ducks, but they caught on." And then David started. See, David wrote for us the way Claudio is writing for me in Don Q.
Right.
You can't beat that. The way William DeMeo writes for me in his new show Gravesend. I play Donnie Glasses. When you have a writer-director like writing for you, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. The other thing is, I wonder what your character would have looked like had he not been killed. I wonder if he would have been as profound, right? Because everybody knows Big P. Everybody knows him. Like, would that have changed? You always wonder. I don't know. I think you had the most iconic.
I don't think the character would have blown up as big as it did.
Right.
Derek, if he didn't get whacked.
Yeah.
And he didn't get whacked unexpectedly because nobody thought that a main player. I had a 7-year contract with HBO.
Yeah.
And they kill you. They don't buy out. They say bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah. When we get to John Q, what do you look for in characters before accepting parts? Because this is a really different role for you, right? Because you're playing yourself for those who haven't seen it yet. And that's a unique blend. How much of what we see on screen is actually you, Vincent? How much of it is a little bit of
The scene when we were walking up the street.
Yeah.
Acting with the guy, I said, "You put me away." Yeah, okay, Judge. Thanks for giving me community service.
That's right. Yeah.
And then little Frankie chased me with a script. I told him to do that because he was bugging me all day on the set. He said, "Read my script, Vinny." So I said, "We're going to put that in the scene. You're going to chase me up the street with the scene." And the first time I threw it in the garbage, and he grabbed it out of the garbage again, and then I gave it to Butchie, and then Butchie threw it and said, "We were making this up."
Yeah.
And it was fun, yeah.
Yeah, the way the movie was shot, it reminded me of Do the Right Thing, where you have the on-street perspective, right? So it's like the camera is like almost like you're street level with the characters. I love the way it was shot. It was really, from a cinematography point of view, really creative, Vincent. I like that.
Yeah, and he was able to, Claudia was able to call in some name actors for his first project, like Sandra Santi, who was on The Sopranos, who was originally in Miami Vice.
Terrific on Miami Vice, yeah.
Well, I saw Sandra do View from the Bridge when she was a kid with Tony LoBianco, so I knew Sandra, and her husband is my buddy. Her husband, Roger Squitieri, he's a percussion player because I'm musically involved because of my club years ago. I stayed with the music. I got a band called the Gangster Squad, and we go around and we play. But yeah, to get back to, I lost my chain of thought. Ask me again.
I was going to go on to how great the cast was. I was going to mention Sandra Santiago and Chuck Zito. I swear, this guy, it's like he's ageless. Like he's just this, he's accomplished a lot in his life. Like he's had such an eclectic life, and it was nice to see him in the movie as well.
I love Chucky, but he keeps dyeing his hair like shoe polish black. I said, "Let your grays go out." He said, "No, you need to dye your hair." I said, "I'm not dyeing my hair. I'm getting work because I'm gray."
What did you love most about this?
Chucky. I grew up with Chucky and show.
Yeah. And Armand, like you mentioned earlier, is absolutely terrific in this. I mean, his career, you talk about a legendary career. This guy is no joke when it comes to being on screen. Talk about your dynamic with Armand and your rapport with Armand, Vincent.
The first time I met Armand, I was doing extra work on Q&A, Sidney Lumet. That's the first time I met Armand. And then I auditioned for Gotti. I worked with him on Gotti, and then we became friends. You become friends with this person, and you go to their house, you have barbecues. Time goes by, and the phone rings, and it's Marco Asante, Armand's cousin, and he said, Armand wants you to be in a movie with him. And that's what we do for each other.
Yeah, yeah. How much, because of your filmography, because of Armand's filmography, how much is your opinion sought after on set? Like if you mentioned earlier about that scene where you see the judge. How much is your opinion sought after during a shoot, during multiple shoots?
Well, it depends. I mean, you can't go up to David Chase and say, I want to change the scene.
Right.
Right. You can't.
Yeah.
You're going to say, go home.
Right.
No, I remember he went up to this guy, Big Mike. He was improvising. And he says, I didn't write that. Mm. But when you're working with Claudio and you're working with like Willie DeMeo on his show, I'm doing a scene with Willie last week, and I said, I'm talking about my father playing bocce ball. I says, I think I want to say he played it every day in back of my club because my father played bocce ball in back of. I lived on top of a social club when I was a kid. I needed to connect that. And Willie said, would you come up with that line? And I said, we lived on top of a social club when I was a kid. My father, that's how I learned the bar business, because I used to tap the kegs. I used to go downstairs and peek through the pee hole and see people getting voted in. I didn't know it was the
whether it's this project, Sopranos, any other projects, do you ever have people on the street, or maybe when you're touring or playing with your band, do you have, I want to be careful how I say this, made men or members of the characters do they ever give you their 2 cents as to what they think about your acting ability as it applies to that world?
Let me tell you something. I've been doing this stuff, playing wise guy, since the 90s.
Yeah.
Godfather, small part. State of Grace, small part. Carlito's Way, small part. Law and Order. And they saw me evolve. When I was doing the Gotti movie, I was living in a neighborhood, a wise guy neighborhood, and there was a club on one side of the street and a club on the other side of the street, and they loved me. Hey, how you doing? You play quack quack so good. I tell the story all the time. When they saw the Sopranos, I was playing a rat. They told me not to come around no more.
Wow, I hadn't heard that. Oh my God.
Don't come around no more. They were serious.
Oh my God. That's when.
Like Don Q, because I don't play a rat.
Yeah. Vincent, give me a last few words about John Q and how great this movie is. Talk about that.
If you know anything about Man of La Mancha, which was a big musical, Don Quixote, the book. Mm-hmm. When we say Don Q, the story is a spoof on Man of La Mancha. He's trying to save the woman from slavery, from being taken to slavery, the way Don Quixote was trying to save Dulcinea.
Right.
He had his little sidekick, and Armand's got his little sidekick, and it all plays. What's magical about the movie is it takes you to a place you didn't think you were going to go. You thought you were going to see a shoot 'em up gangster movie again, that we do. No offense, that's how I make my living.
Right.
They didn't, and you don't expect it to go. And I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but it takes you down a different road, and it's very funny.
It is very funny. Yes.
Yes, it's funny.
Yeah. Don Q is available on demand November 1st. Vincent, thank you so much. Always great to talk to an actor I think the world of. Thank you for this.
God bless you. And anytime you want to do something like this again, get in touch with Lisa. We can do it again. All right?
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Vincent. Appreciate it.